hands and kissing babies. You get to know the people. You have to get to know the people that you're talking to. But in order to know the people, you have to know yourself. You have to be comfortable in your skin, right? You have to be comfortable enough in your skin to actually feel comfortable approaching other people. So you have to have confidence. So we're going to devote a little bit of this conversation towards authenticity and authentic communication for leadership development. As a matter of fact, Tiffany asked me to come in specifically to give you guys a gift. You guys like gifts? Yes. I like gifts. I like to be giving gifts. You guys like to be giving gifts? Yes. I've got a gift for everybody here. If you would, well, we have to pay the bills. So let's pay the bills and let's thank the sponsors for having me come in, right? I'm super appreciative, right? Super appreciative to everybody that asked me to come in. We have a very hectic schedule, but people are more important than profit. People are more important than profit. Meaningfulness is more important than money. Impact is more important than income. If you're writing, this is the time to make sure that you do that. Value is more important than valuation. So again, that's meaningfulness over money, impact over income, people over profit, and value over valuation. These phenomenal organizations feel the same way, and that's why they asked me to come in. Okay, so we're going to share something today that's going to be massively impactful. If you dare to have your communication skills up-leveled, this is the gift. This is the gift. If you guys take down that link, put that in your computer. How you doing, sir? I remember you. If you take this link, this is going to take you to an assessment that's going to give you your superpowers, your ability to connect most powerfully. We're going to help you become dream communicators. Can everybody say that with me? Dream communicator, a dream communicator. What would it be like if you had everything that you wanted through speaking to people, through connecting with people? I want to let you know that it's massively possible. However, in order to connect with people most powerfully, you have to know not only who you're speaking to, but yourself. You have to be comfortable in your skin. You have to know what your superpowers are. So I'm going to introduce you to some personalities, and I'm going to introduce you to some superpowers. And when you recognize your own, it will be massively easy for you to connect with other people, because when you see them, you'll be able to see theirs. So this is kind of like X-ray vision. And I know it sounds impossible or an oversell, but I guarantee you that this is very powerful. So let's begin here. Authenticity begins with self-awareness. I exist at the intersection between personal branding and leadership development. Just so that everybody's aware. Personal branding, building your personal brand within or outside of the organization so that you can move up and become more of a value add, right? So moving up in or out of, because every fit is not for us. Every situation is not for us. So the way that you make the most of a situation is by making the most of yourself. And that begins with authenticity, which begins with self-awareness. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever said something to someone that didn't resonate the way it was meant to be? Yeah. More often than not, right? You say one thing, they say something back. In communication, there are three components. There's the sender, there's the receiver, and then there's the actual message, the actual content. And sometimes between the sender and the receiver, things get crossed. Why is get crossed? People don't understand. You give someone a compliment, they take offense to it. What did you mean by that? That ever happened to you? You say something to start out as a compliment and they don't understand it and they take it the wrong way? What about a job interview? You ever had a job interview or a performance review where someone's giving you feedback and it sounds a little bit too critical, a little bit too harsh? Have you ever tried to coach someone, but they took it as challenging? That assessment will help you get through that, right? So people don't understand what you're trying to say because you don't understand their lens. So everyone has a filter here. Everyone has a world view in which they receive information. We have our own power, the way we like to speak, but then other people have the way that they like to be spoken to. And that's what we're going to learn today, how to see someone, spot someone, and tell the way they like to be spoken to. You like to be spoken to softly, don't you? Very nicely, right? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, right? You see how I just did that? And then other people like to be challenged and spoke to a little bit differently. Do you like more direct conversation? More forceful sometimes, right? How about you? When we shook hands today, you kind of let me know, right? This is the way people communicate. We communicate differently, so you can't shake everybody's hand like that. You might break someone's hand if you try to shake it that way. Okay, so everybody here has their own set of preferences, traits, and characteristics. How do you say, talk to me nice? You ever heard that? Talk to me nice. Yeah, don't talk slick. Don't talk crazy. Talk to me nice. So we're going to talk real nice, and I'm going to show you the power in communication. Because when you have a conversation, you want to make sure that you bring your whole self to the conversation. And that's hard for some people. Do you ever feel like you have to modify certain parts of yourself when you have conversations? There's just some things that are not on the table for discussion. Doesn't that hurt? It's called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance, when you have to leave a little bit of yourself at home and put on the corporate hat. Yeah, you ever had to put on a corporate hat to speak to people because you can't show that side of yourself? You can't be your full, authentic self? What about being able to be your true, authentic self and bring all of you to the environment? How comfortable would that be? Real talk, like how comfortable would that be if you could bring your whole 360-degree self to the organization and the conversation? That would be a different conversation, wouldn't it? That would be probably all of us would speak a lot differently, maybe even walk a little bit differently when we enter the room. Think about it. In many organizations, what do they say? Dress down Fridays, right? Dress down day. I can remember being in multiple organizations, and on dress down day, I made sure I dressed up a little bit more. And people would look at me and say, "What's wrong with you?" And I would say, absolutely nothing. This is my authentic self. This is how I move. This is how I feel comfortable. So on dress down day, that doesn't mean that I have to dress down or wear a t-shirt. That doesn't mean that I have to dress down or lower my standards, is what it is. You understand? Lower your standards. So you don't want to lower your standards for anyone else. Because every time you move, every word that you say is a communication. Your attire. One of the things that I teach is changing your attire to match your desire. Changing your attire to match your desire. Who do you want to be? How do you want to be received? How do you want people to perceive you? Do you understand that there are pay grades? There are pay grades. When people look at you, they perceive you a certain kind of way, and in a job interview, you can come a certain kind of way, and they already know your pay bracket. They know where they're going to place you. When they say the offer, if you come in a little bit differently, though, that number changes. You can put a 0 behind that number. You can literally put a 0 behind that number. So let's get into it. When we don't bring our whole self to an event, an interaction, a phone call, or an organization, there are gaps. There are gaps. Now, these gaps may emerge as lost revenue, potential wins, and opportunity. They also manifest as disconnection with ideal clients. This is Salesforce, right? Last time I checked, this was Salesforce, so we're in the sales business. But when we don't bring our whole self to the conversation, we miscommunicate, or we disconnect our communication, and we lose opportunity to connect, which means convert. Because if you can't communicate effectively, you can't connect effectively. And if you can't connect effectively, you can't convert effectively. So the moment you bring a little bit more of yourself, your revenue goes up just a little bit more. Your bottom line goes up. Your earnings go up. Your commission goes up. Your salary goes up. A little bit more of yourself that you bring to the table, Your salary goes up that much more. People notice you. Say, there's something different about you. I don't know. You've been conducting yourself a little bit differently. Come into my office. What would you like to do? How would you see things differently? So let me ask this. Does anybody have any ideas about things that they could see done a little bit differently within any organization? You ever been to an organization? Yeah. You ever been to an organization, you said, you know what, I see where we could have some improvisation, where we could make some improvements. Certain people are consulted for those changes. Other people just go with the flow. Don't you want to be the person that's consulted for the ideas? This skill that I'm going to give you will help you to become that person. So, when you think of strategy or growth, from this point forward, who plays chess? No chess? No chess over here? Checkers over here. It's okay. I'm going to teach you chess. I'm going to teach you chess real quick, and I'm going to combine it with communication. Because the world is playing chess, brother. You already know that. You already know that. People play checkers. People play checkers, but the world plays chess. This is the bigger game that we're playing. Anybody did you notice the gas price? That's a chess move. That's a chess move. You notice the gas price at the pump? That's a chess move. What about the price of rent? Has that gone up? About salary, has that gone up to match it? Price of milk go up. Price of eggs go up. That's a chess move. That's a chess move. And it's one of the ones close to mate. Those who play chess know you want to see the long game. Communication skills is the long game. What did Maya Angelou say? People forget. People forget. Say it again.
People forget what you say, but they'll forget what you do, but they'll never forget how you made them feel.
Come on.